What's going on, guys? JSGC here, and we are here for another Manchester City video. This time we are going to be analysing the Manchester City away match against Swansea in the FA Cup quarter-final match. And wow, what a match it was. So we've got plenty to talk about, so we're going to crack on with this video. We're going to start off first, like we always do, by talking about the teams. Now, very, very strong side from Manchester City. Aguero, Sterling and Zinchenko ended up being on the bench. Phil Foden too, a surprise to me. So Mahrez start with Sane as expected. Otamendi, who I said was 10,000% certain to be starting in this game, did. We also saw Gabriel Jesus go up front. I said Delph might be playing. He's gone in at left back. We saw Edison in net, Laporte starting surprisingly too, considering he had an injury. And we saw Garcia and Muric on the bench too for Swansea. We saw Bersant Celina returning to play against us for the first time. We saw starts for Swansea captain Van der Horn, to the former Premier League centre-back at the back line for Swansea. Wembley on the line, plenty to play for. We're going to talk about the teams. And first 20 minutes or so, City were creating opportunities. A big early chance as Leroy ended up getting a shot. The goalkeeper ended up, I think, smacking him in the face. Rising right up, Mahrez rises tallest, gets a decent head onto it, and it goes just wide. It's disappointing, actually, if I'm honest. It's a good opportunity there. Mahrez did all the hard work, just needed to put it on target, and considering it's about, what, 7-8 yards out from there, like I said, did all the hard work. Probably should have scored, but there we go, football for you. And then, of course, typical Manchester City style, 20 minutes in, Fabian Delph ends up bringing down Roberts, and Grimes ends up taking the penalty. Not Celina, interestingly, who took the penalty against West Brom, ended up slipping and doing nothing with his penalty in midweek. So this time it was Grimes who was taking it. Swansea haven't got a brilliant penalty-taking record this season, but ends up sending Edison the wrong way. Decent penalty, 1-0, and Fabian Delph. There we go. Now 29 minutes in, few touches as Swansea built from the back like we like to do. Walker nowhere to be seen. Otamendi scared to death at being ran at like normal. Bersant Celina's all of a sudden in, ends up taking a first time shot into the net. 2-0, and it was as simple as that. Bersant Celina celebrates, not going to blame him for celebrating. He wanted that goal, he got his goal, and had a point to prove. That was the point in his play there. I'm not going to hold any bitterness against him. Bersant Celina, to get game time, needed to leave, ends up getting game time and leaving and doing very well, and that's what I want to see from Manchester City youngsters. So yeah, fair credit to him. Half time, yeah, 2-0 down. Swansea deserved to lead, my opinion. They were showing no fear, they were running well, very confident. Backing off last 15 minutes, I thought, in the half, but, you know, need to try and get that tempo back, I thought, in the second half, and if they do, then we're in a lot of trouble, because for 30 minutes there, they were more than matching Manchester City pound for pound there, and that takes a lot of doing. There's a lot of Premier League sides, even Champions League sides, that haven't done that this season, yet Swansea City have. Just made some notes at half-time. Felt like we needed to bring Aguero and Sterling on. The game was crying out for Aguero and Sterling. And I thought Delph was that bad. I'd like to have seen Zinchenko come on for me. And they ended up coincidentally being our 3 substitutes. So nice to see that I was on the same wavelength as Pep Guardiola there. I thought we needed to stop with our passive play. So slow in the build-up. Need to just add a little bit of intensity there. We didn't play bad. I felt like this game was a game where we was more than capable, if it was on our game, of scoring 5 or 6 goals in a half. We are capable of doing that, and so I wasn't too concerned at half-time. We just need to make sure we don't rush our play, and like we always do when panicking, start hoofing crosses when we've not got tall players in the box, and it ends up looking a little bit pathetic, if I'm honest. So needed to stop doing that. I was hoping we'll just speed up our play a little bit more and force Swansea further back, and then be able to crack them. It's one of them games where I felt like if we could score 1, then 2 and 3 and 4 might come rather quickly. We needed to pull our finger out of our arses and try and get that early goal. That was my half-time notes, and I think it's hard to disagree with that. Anyway, second half, it was lethargic, it was poor. We didn't really create much. We was worse than what we were in the first half of the first half of the second half. You get where I'm coming from with that. But 69 minutes in, there we go. A route back in. Bernardo Silva had gone out wide, drifted out wide. The ball was played to him outside of his left foot. Ends up getting a beautiful finish into the back of the net. Static until then. just the confidence we were needed. 21 minutes left in the game. We've got a route back into the game, and there we go. Now we've got the big talking point. 78 minutes in, Raheem Sterling ends up going down from a challenge from Carter Vickers. The linesman doesn't give the penalty. In the first half, he gave the penalty to Swansea. This time, the linesman does not give it. It's the referee's choice. The Swansea players are very unhappy. Carter Vickers is very unhappy, and replays were showing, actually, that he got to the ball first, and there wasn't a lot of contact on Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling didn't really appeal. The referee's given the penalty. No VAR in this game. It's daft. VAR's in all Premier League games, all Premier League grounds that are in the FA Cup. But Swansea, being a Premier League team, last year had VAR, but because they're a Championship team now, didn't. Now, how hard can it be to set up VAR? There's an abundance of cameras there. It doesn't take a lot to be able to use one camera, zoom in, have a look, and there we go. It wasn't a penalty. Ridiculous in my opinion, but yeah, there we go. Penalty was given. Next talking point, Sergio Aguero taking the penalty. Personally, I'd have had Gundogan. I think he's a wonderful penalty taker, but Sergio Aguero seems to be our penalty taker. He slips, and it ends up going onto the post, and Nordfeldt ends up diving the right way. It hits his back and ends up going into the back of the net. Now, in the first half, City had a shot. I think it was blocked on the line, ends up hitting the keeper's back and ends up going wide. They got away with it then. Not this time. Very unlucky from Swansea. Very, very lucky for Manchester City. I don't like to equalise and get back into games that way, but yeah, there we go. We got back in it at 2-2. I'd rather we had a clean goal. But yeah, beggars can't be choosers, really. And then from there, City were really knocking on the door against Swansea. There was plenty of shots from City, plenty of blocks, plenty of saves from their keeper, as Swansea were struggling to get out of their own 18-yard box. And it was all Manchester City. So it'll come as no surprise when considering City's got 12 minutes to try and find another goal to stop it from going to extra time, that I'm going to say in 88 minutes, Bernardo Silva on the left, puts a ball in, Aguero low down, manages to get his head onto it, and ends up making it 3-2 to Manchester City. Replays showed that Aguero must have been half a yard to at least a yard offside. Again, VAR, and I'm sure Swansea fans are going to feel hard done by. I did see the comments made by Swansea manager Graham Potter, who said that all in all, Manchester City completely dictated that second half, and plenty of opportunities were created that, in fact, that Manchester City did deserve the win. In my opinion, I feel like this game deserved extra time. Swansea's efforts in the first half were incredible. We've done so well to come back from it in the second half. 30 more minutes might have been a bit whirlwind, and we might have been gone to the lottery of penalties, but there we go. I wouldn't like to have won the way we did, but we have, and we're through to the semi-final. So I feel bad for Swansea. I do. I thought that they played incredible. But there we go, we're there. It's a crazy game. Anyway, we're going to check the stats now, see how the stats compare. I suspect we might be dominating some of these attacking stats. So City ended up having 69% possession to Swansea's 31. 5 shots for Swansea, 2 on target, 2 goals. Not a bad turn, is it? I did say the shots on target was crucial for Swansea. They needed to put their chances away. They did. They're unlucky to have lost this game. 22 shots for City, 9 on target, 3 goals. They're not too bad in my opinion. Now, in terms of passes, 298 from Swansea, 74% pass completion rate. City, 638 passes, maybe about 50 to 100 passes less than what we normally have, at just 87% pass completion rate. It's normally somewhere around 89 to 92, so a little bit below par there. 4 key passes for Swansea, 14 for Manchester City, 1 clear-cut chance created for Manchester City. In terms of crosses, no crosses connected for Swansea, 2 put in, weren't working for them. They was more than happy to play it along the floor and run in and use Roberts' pace. That worked well for them. City, 23 balls put in, connected with 6, which is not too bad. What I don't mind is when we put balls in like Bernardo Silva did. They were good balls put in. Low down, you can attack it with your feet, you can attack it with your head. It means the defender has to go in with his feet rather than his head. Rather than putting it high where the defenders are always going to beat you in the air because they're taller and physically stronger, put it in a little bit lower, you stand a better chance. And Bernardo Silva was wonderful at that today. Corners, 1 for Swansea, 13 for Manchester City. City ended up having more recoveries. Swansea had more tackles. City had a better tackle completion rate at 72% compared to Swansea's 43. More interceptions for Swansea, more blocks for Swansea, more clearances for Swansea, more headed clearances for Swansea. In terms of aerial duels, City were a little bit stronger, winning 11 out of 20, Swansea 9 out of 20. Swansea ended up blocking more crosses and the keeper ended up making more saves. Ederson literally didn't have a lot to do other than play the ball out and pick the ball out of his net a couple of times. So there we go. So all in all, lovely from Swansea. Tired, I thought, in the last 30 minutes of the game. They must have been knackered playing such intensity. But if they can play like that on a regular basis that they did against Manchester City, they've proved to me that they are capable of matching a standard that is good enough for them to get out of the Championship and back into the Premier League. They've played better than what a lot of Premier League teams have played in their own backyard against Manchester City this season. Like I said, they've played better than some Champions League teams that we've played against this season. So it's important that Swansea now know that intensity and the level they need to get to. Doing it on a consistent basis now is easier said than done, but if they can, they'll be somewhere in and around at the top of the Championship next season. It's important to try and keep hold of their players. Roberts, in particular, would be my man of the match had Swansea won this game, but they didn't. He was quick going forward. He was immense. One of the quickest players on the pitch. I've not seen players outpace Kyle Walker like he has, but he did. And so it's important. I did hear that Swansea nearly sold him in January, so it's important to try and keep hold of him in the summer and going forward next season. So if they end up losing him, that'll be a big blow. For us, poor in the first half, better in the second half once Aguero, Sterling and Zinchenko came on. Zinchenko, absolutely wonderful. He looks so comfortable at left back. Everyone has so much trust in him. He's a lot better on the ball than what Fabian Delph is. He's got a lot better of an eye for an attack as well, Zinchenko, and we looked so much more comfortable. We went down the right wing a lot in the first half. In the second half, it was down the left, and we targeted it a lot with Raheem Sterling and Zinchenko being fresh. Swansea did struggle with that. Was lucky to get away with this, but semi-finals here we come. We're not going to be mentioning the Q word. I will say, though, Bernardo Silva, once again, absolutely sensational. My man of the match. All three substitutes for Manchester City had a claim for man of the match, in particular Zinchenko, but I'm going to give it Bernardo Silva. Had a wonderful game once again, and it's also the first time City have come from 2 goals behind to win a game under Pep Guardiola. So, huge respect to Swansea City. Good luck for the rest of the season, and good luck next season. Hopefully, they can be up there in the Championship, and we might see them again in the Premier League, giving it us a good game, let's say, for the least there. So yeah, very unlucky from Swansea, very lucky for us. We're in the semi-final of the FA Cup. We've got another match at Wembley coming up, so our match against Cardiff now is going to be moved, which is on the 6th of April, I think, so that may well be moved to a few days before. We have got a free slot then, so I'll stay tuned for that. I'll have more of that in the latest news with Manchester City up next week. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a big thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and press the bell and put your push notifications on. Any help towards making gains on my numbers will be much appreciated. And don't forget you check out my social media links, my Twitter and Instagram in description below. I'm also going to pop them up on the screen. If you want to go and search for me and follow me on there, that would be great. And I'll see you all again for the next video. We got away with that one, didn't we? So there we go, lads. So I've been JSGC. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Peace. Ciao for now.